So, who else remembers Concord, the $400 million Sony disaster piece? Now, this game came out on September 6, 2024, and it's been way over a year since then. So, I was curious, how have the Concord devs been doing? Right? How many of them have been able to seek employment since? And does working on such a big AAA flop ends up ruining your career? So, I've got some data, and here I show every single dev, or at least I think every single dev, who has worked for either Firewalk Studios or for an outsourcing company that ended up working on Concord in some way or another. So I've got a question for you guys. What percentage out of 100% do you think are employed currently that used to be a Concord developer? So I've got the answer, 71.2%. Which actually really surprised me, considering how messed up and shitty the games industry is right now. 71.2% actually isn't that bad. And that's worst case scenario in a way, because we've got 3.5% which are inconclusive. I can't really tell because they don't give the information. They haven't updated their LinkedIns. And 5.8% of those are self-employed, right? So you assume they have some sort of paid work going. Maybe, maybe not. So sort of best case scenario, we can assume that about 80% of the Concord devs, ex-Concord devs, are employed. So that leaves 19.5% unemployed. And rip to those people, man. And that's unemployed currently and since Concord, right? And that's absolutely rough. I feel bad for anyone who wants to be in the games industry, but is currently out of a job. So of those people who got work, I wanted to know, where are they working now? And as you can see, I've got this pie chart here. 7.5% are at Riot Games, and the biggest chunk, which is Epic Games, 8.6% of ex-Concord developers actually migrated there. So, and there's quite a few other ones too. You know, you've got like a bunch of other smaller ones. Halo Studios has 4%, which is actually quite significant, really. 4% of the developers. I'm going to see how many developers they were. Actually, I'll skip to this now. There was a total of 226 estimated throughout its development, right? On release, there were about 150-ish. It could, you know, I'm getting different answers here and there. Some people are saying 150. Some people are saying about 170. But I also wanted to know, what is the employment status per role? Meaning, like, you've got the different categories, the different jobs, right? Games designer, artist, programmer, animator. How many of those are working? How many of those are not working? And blah, blah, blah. So games designer, we can see that 23 out of 28 have been able to land another job, which is actually pretty good. But one part I want to point out, well, there's two, is it looks really rough being a concept artist. As you can see, it's like 7 of them are unemployed out of 11, which is the majority. And same with QA. 3 QA people, none of them have been able to secure work since then. So this sort of proves what I've been saying for like this year, where it's like being a concept artist and being into QA is pretty brutal in the games industry. Even though you worked on like such a highly regarded, well, technically in terms of level of skill, Concord is a technically well-made game. It just wasn't a game that is good, and that's why it completely failed. But that being said, these guys are at the top, right, in terms of skill level. Yet, you know, technically, yet being a concept artist and being a QA is absolutely brutal. Thank you, by the way, Striker, for providing me with this graph. I also wanted to know, what was the average years of experience, average years of experience working at Firewalk, and it seems to be just above 15. So the average person had 15 years of experience in the games industry. I was also curious, do you remember this tweet, right, by this person, whose name I think is Xander Farrell? So do you remember when he called people a bunch of talentless freaks after the game was released? And this caused a huge PR nightmare for Firewalk Studios. So even though you cause a big PR nightmare, this person now works PUBG Studios Madison as a gameplay animator. So it doesn't matter. You can say, you know, you can cause PR nightmares and you can still get a job, which is pretty funny. I also wanted to know the art director, right? The art director from Concord now works at Riot Games. So you can work on a complete failure and lead a team to a complete failure and still get a job. Good to know. As you can see, here are the player numbers. This is the player numbers during the beta test, and then the player count during release, which is absolutely nuts. That it's so brutal, right? Like doing better during your beta testing compared to your actual release is brutal. Absolutely rough. So yeah, like I said before, I'm going to provide this document in the description so you can check it out for yourself. As you can see, this took me many hours. Look how much data there is here. I had to scour shit tons through LinkedIn. So you can see the names, you've got the employment status, where they're currently working, and if they're not employed, there's nothing, what they're doing now, link to their LinkedIn, the average years of experience, and just some notes if there was anything of interest. So yeah, and another thing too, I'm noticing that the ex-developers must have gotten permission recently to post the work that they did on their portfolio. So at least the developers get some portfolio work. As you can see, there's heaps of stuff. You know, we got this machine gun. We got this spaceship, which I don't think we ever saw, which is really, really unfortunate. We've got this gun, which might have been one of the characters' guns, I'm not sure. A bunch of other stuff. So there must have been some collaboration going on. We've got this must have been a scene. I don't remember this one. I think they're working on a TV show called Secret Level. I think that's a thing as well. There's like a bunch of universes that join together. So we're seeing some stuff for that as well. I remember this scene. This was in the first like trailer thing, whatever, the character trailer, whatever. Yeah, this was, oh wow, you can actually see how it looks like inside and stuff. The amount of sheer detail that went into this. Look, you even got like this towel wrapping. I don't think we ever saw that in the actual scene. The amount of detail that got put into this, and considering how bad it flopped, is insane. We've got this character. I remember this character, yep. This gun, not sure if I remember that one. This character, I remember, yes. This spaceship, don't remember. Yeah, there's just a lot of unused assets, which is insane. Oh yeah, I remember this is the gun used by that fucking yellow trash can guy, I think, right? This gun, yep. Secret Level, yeah, this must be for that TV show. I think this is for the TV show as well. We even got some like technical art type stuff, which is really cool. Yeah, all these systems. That's another thing we forget about. We remember all like the characters and all the art, but what about all the technical art? What about all the programming and systems that were used to do stuff like this, where you can change colors on the fly of objects and, you know, put some special like effects on and stuff? Like all this stuff is being forgotten about. What's this one? Senior lighting artist. Okay, so yeah, this person works solely on the lighting. Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. I don't know if this level ever got released. This must be like another level. I'm not sure. I never played the game. We got some secret level stuff. That's the same. See, I remember that character was called Lennox, but this is the same. This is obviously of the same species of the character. So yeah, they've actually continued this on, which is actually insane. We got some. I don't know what this is. A grenade or something? Not sure. This character, yeah, that's in the TV show, I think. See, there must be some collaborating going on. We got this gun. I think that was the character that it was played by that guy with like the weird eye, the generic looking dude. I think had this gun. See, this is the concept art. So this is, I think, Hamar, the original concept artist. I'm not sure what this character is. Oh, it must be a skin. Okay. So yeah, it seems like everyone's putting their... Oh, this is another technical art. Yeah, look at this. You've got like the change of the screen. This hours went into this, guys. So many hundreds of hours went into this. You got Look at this detail. Are you telling me that the pixels are animated too? This is... Okay, to be fair, this is fucking... one thing that AAA games do. This is fucking overkill in my opinion. Do we really need this much detail? Like, this is just something people are going to run past and not give two shits about, you know, like players. But this is, holy shit, the amount of work that goes into this. This must be for the TV show. Yep. We saw that before. I remember this gun. Yep. I do remember this level, yep. This does look nice. Wow, the amount of work that gets put into something just blows my mind. And see, you can see here that there's proof that these guys are getting hired as well. This person is at Blizzard now. So this person who made this pistol now works at Blizzard. But this person's open to work though. So mid-level. which is another thing too. I did notice in the data that the less years of experience you have, the more likely you are to be unemployed, which is a thing. As you can see, this one, 5.9 years unemployed. But then again, you do get some examples of people who are like industry vets, 25.3 years unemployed. So that does happen as well. This must be for the TV show. Oh no, this is the scene that was used in that big trailer. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, look how much work goes into this. Look at that. That's crazy. To be fair, this is probably done procedurally and not fully by hand, so that can save a lot of time, but still, the amount of effort. Yeah, dang. Got the concept art again. Oh, this character. Yeah, this character was an abomination. One thing that's interesting is it doesn't look too bad. The concept art doesn't look too bad for it. But when it was translated into 3D, yeah, it just did not look great. Yeah, this was one of the least liked characters in just sheer design. Cool. More tech art stuff, I assume. Yep, different materials. Makes sense. Character art. What character was this? I don't know. Is this meant to be a skin of that other character? I'm not sure. Who knows how many characters were made like that never got light of day? That's crazy. More material work. Yeah, this is. Yeah, dang. Oh, yep. The assault rifle. Senior UI artist. Okay. Is this person working at? See, this person's working at CD Projekt Red now, so they were able to land a job. Same as the material guy, CD Projekt Red. So that who knows if maybe they got group, hired. That's interesting. Insomniac Games. Okay, we got a knife. Nixies. Okay, so sculpting artist. So to wrap up and answer the question, are the devs screwed? No. 71.2% have gotten work and are currently working right now. And it might even be a touch more than that. Could even be up to 80% of the ex-developers are working. But we got to remember one thing, and it's that the Concord devs, or the people that worked on Concord, are more likely to be way more experienced than the average person trying to get into the games industry. So yes, the vast majority have been able to find work, and that's good for them. But in terms of, the new talent and in terms of the games industry in general, then obviously these people have it a little bit easier compared to the average person in the games industry. So found that to be pretty interesting. And I guess this is going to be the end of the video. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
Yeah. If you've got something to expose, call us Mulatto Bros. Got something to expose.